Hi everyone, this is my mentoring experience. I'd like to start off by saying thank you for watching this video and thank you Dr. Kovac for hooking me up with an awesome mentor and an awesome experience. I was able to observe at Agape Physical Therapy this past semester, located right here in Charlotte. I included a picture of the outside of therapy to show you guys what I walked into every Friday. Later on in this video, I'll show you the inside of therapy so you guys can get a feel of the inside and out. This is my mentor slash mentors list. My main mentor was Dr. Adam Kramer, whose photo is here on the right. He's originally from California but moved to Syracuse when he was a kid and then later attended Nazareth College where he got his doctorate in physical therapy. Another physical therapist I was able to observe is Dr. Nick Antonio. He was a recent graduate of Nazareth College and just started working at Agape Physical Therapy. He also grew up in Rochester and attended Aquinas. The third person I spent a lot of time shadowing was Jeremy. He was a PT student from SUNY Upstate. He worked alongside Dr. Adam Kramer a lot, so I really observed both of them for a majority of my time at Agape Physical Therapy. This is the treatment room of the therapy. It took about half the size of therapy, and this picture is missing 3 beds that are on the other side of the room. So this is pretty much where treatment started and ended for each of the patients. This is where they would come in, they would talk with the therapist, and then they would start either getting stretched out or they would get heat applied to them just to loosen up for whatever treatment they were getting that day. After getting warmed up, they would head to the exercise room, which I'll show you guys after this slide. But at the end of the treatment, they'd also come here and get their ice, which you can see I'm right here where my mouse is. That was like a little ice machine that hooked up to the patients, and these little tubes shot really cold water through the ice packs. They also received manual therapy in the treatment room. Manual therapy is basically passive stretching and localized massages. Passive stretching is just stretching with a partner. The person being stretched isn't really doing any voluntary movements to stretch out their muscles. It's just the partner is doing most of that. Attached to the treatment room was also the evaluation rooms. They had 3 or 4 of those. Evaluation rooms are used for first-time patients who have never received treatment. They would come in, they would tell the therapist about the problems they're facing, their injuries, and then the therapist would think of a workout plan for them. I was actually able to observe one evaluation during my time at Agape. The evaluation I saw was this older woman who recently tore 2 of her 4 muscles in her rotator cuff. Her doctor told her to come to physical therapy first before sending her to surgery to see if the therapy could help. Um, my mentor, Dr. Kramer, did a lot of things during this evaluation. He explained to her which muscles were torn. He had a little model which showing her exactly where the muscles were, where they attached. He explained the movements that each muscle did to tell her why she experienced pain with some movements and wasn't experiencing pain with other movements. And he also really put it into terms where she could understand, because most people probably don't understand the vocabulary that the therapists are using. Here's the exercise room. Now they have pretty much anything that any gym would have: treadmills, ellipticals, bikes, free weights, weight machines, medicine balls, and other things of this nature. This is where um, most of the time that therapy was spent. Patients are usually given around like 4 to 6 exercises to do during their time, which should only take them about an hour. 2 really cool things that Agape had was the anti-gravity treadmill and the virtual reality treadmill. The virtual reality treadmill is on the right. This treadmill has pressure boards underneath the treadmill that can read um, how each person walks, and it can even see where um, most of the pressure is applied on their feet when they walk. So that can correct things like biomechanics. The front screen that you'll see here is where all the games would come up. And the games were different regarding on what you were really focusing on that day, whether it was balance, biomechanics, or strengthening your legs. One game I saw that was for balance simulated little paper balls dropping from the top, and you had to just lean side to side to catch the paper balls in a wastebasket. This support right here is just so anyone with walking disabilities could actually walk without threat of falling and getting hurt. The anti-gravity treadmill is really cool. The patients would go into this little contraption with a special vest on that would hook around here. And then this would sort of fill up with air to make you feel lighter than you actually are. Was used for patients who had injuries who were still unable to fully walk while holding 100% of their body weight. Both of these are really special because they're really Agape Physical Therapy is really one of the only places in the state that has these. So that was very interesting to see. Some leadership skills that I was able to see during my time observing was communication, flexibility, compassion, and the ability to be a motivator. Communication was kind of mentioned earlier when I was discussing the evaluation that I witnessed. And it's important to put things into terms that the patient can understand. This is important because you want them to be able to understand their injury, to know what's really going on with their body, and just to be more knowledgeable about themselves. It's also important to use good communication when explaining exercise for a patient. Most patients probably really aren't going to know how to do an exercise the right way. So it's really important that you are able to get through to them and show them the proper techniques. This is important because improper techniques can either lead to a worse injury or really no improvements at all. So you really want to be able to communicate that. It's also important to communicate to them during the treatment process and ask them questions like how they're doing and if they can continue on. Because sometimes people aren't going to speak up and you really don't want to push them too hard and hurt them even more. Flexibility is really important in the field of physiotherapy. I witnessed this when I was observing my main mentor use a massage gun on one lady. She was experiencing really bad muscle pains in her neck and back, and she had to get warmed up obviously when she first showed up for her treatment. The massage gun, however, was causing way too much pain, and she could barely even sit through it for 30 seconds. So my mentor, Adam, had to think of some stretches that she could do that could supplement for the massage gun. Um, Compassion is also an important leadership skill for physiotherapy. There's not really one definition for compassion, but after doing some research, I found a definition that I think really applies. That definition is that compassion is the ability to be able to recognize that someone is struggling or in need, and then having the motivation to help and or relieve that struggle. So to me, this really just sums up what physiotherapy is. People are coming in with these problems, with these injuries, and I am going to have to recognize the exact injury that these people are having. And I'm going to have to do everything in my nature to give them the best treatment possible. The motivator is also a trait that is super important. I need to be able to motivate these patients to stay active and to do their workouts at home and to just continue with the treatment and do everything to the best of their ability because that's really what it's going to take for them to see some real improvements. So my big takeaway from this whole experience is that I think I can safely say that physiotherapy is something I'm really looking forward to in the future, and it's a career that I really want to pursue. Before this experience, I never really had any physiotherapy experience. I have never received physiotherapy for any injuries I've had in the past. So this was really something I've never had an inside view of. Another big takeaway I got from this was that I need to keep my options open. Before observing at Agape, I thought I'd only want to work with athletes. After this experience, I realized how wrong I was, and I really enjoy working with an older population. So in my future shadowing opportunities, I'm definitely going to reach out to a more variety of places to really get a better view and feel for the different settings that I can work in. Thank you for watching this video.